Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most intriguing prospects in the 2018 draft in Quinn Hughes. Before we get to that, a little bit of business with you guys. Got over to 100 subscribers recently, so thank you for that. Like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, comment on who you want to see next, any sort of feedback. Greatly appreciated, really keeps this thing moving. So thank you for that. So in the meantime, let's get working on Quinn Hughes here, American defenseman from the University of Michigan, 7th overall pick of the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to see how aggressive this player is, and for good reason. This is some kind of talent level that he has. Watch him here, just jumps into and you go, well, that's really aggressive, but it also serves to cut down an outlet pass angle for the Slovaks, and then he tracks back over the top and he fills in for his partner, who in this case was Ryan Lindgren, traded to New York Rangers. And that's smart. Aggressive is good if it's sensible, but you can't be running around all over the place. And we're going to see some pluses and minuses from Hughes as we go along here. You're going to watch here, and this is probably his greatest strength, the escapability. I don't know that there's anybody in his peer group that could track him down in terms of just his escapability. They can't nail him down on a forecheck. He's impossible to stop in that way. We're going to see it in a couple of avenues here going forward. It's a terrific skating base. Now, again, like I always say, it's not a highlight video, so we're going to focus on a lot of things that are away from the puck, as well as some of the puck skills. Defensively, his positioning, it needs a lot of work. He is not ready out of the box. Not a lot of players are. We're going to watch here. He sets up a little too far inside. He's got to read off his partner a little bit better there. That's designed to be an isolation play, low neutral zone, or an entry game. We saw that in the Evan Bouchard video actually a few times. The Slovaks execute it so poorly that the USA survives it pretty easily. But against good players, that setup probably is going to beat them. It's just a little bit leaning too far on the inside leg, and there's a lot of experience things that Hughes does not do the right way. And we'll go over some of those before this video's out. The term fourth forward is sometimes used as a slight. I'm not going to use it as a slight here. There is no question that this guy plays like he's a fourth forward. Watch this jump into the rush. Zoom. And he's out. And he carries it in. And it's not to useless ice. He takes it to meaningful ice. He sets it up. He's going to stick around. He's going to keep the play alive. And yeah, that's risky. Yeah, there's some risk associated with that. And sometimes there's a penalty to pay for that. I get that. This guy's a fourth forward through and through. That rush was very Phil Housley-esque back in the day. Another terrific American defenseman from an offensive point of view. He's got a lot of upside in this regard. So you talk about size being an issue, and that's going away. The game is changing. More 5'9" or shorter players were drafted in this draft than there have been probably ever. But you look at the spots where it can affect you, and it's augmented sometimes by a player of this type. He's not the most dialed in his own zone, so he's easy to beat. Here he's going to get involved with Milos Roman and Adam Ruzicka. Ruzicka's a big kid. Hughes doesn't want to stop or go against the grain here. He just kind of gets lost in the woods there and gets knocked off the puck. But then he's right back into the zone, and the acceleration to join the rush, and he'll make a real athletic keep there to keep the United States alive. But it's not even in the areas where you think where it's like, oh, he's going to be taking on these big-time power forwards. What's he going to do against Ryan Getzlaf and all this? It's not even about that. It's about getting to pucks. He's great at retrieving pucks. You got to be able to get the pucks though, even if you're 5'10". It's really, the game's all about picks and timing and interference and getting time and space for other guys. We saw that a lot in the Rasmus Sandin video, his wonderful spatial awareness. So here, and maybe this is the casualty of tournament play and being unfamiliar with a partner. It's as they go back for this thing, it's nearly a car crash with Ryan Lindgren. They have such a great chance to actually pick the Slovaks there, and they almost pick each other. Tournament play and chemistry, that can be real tricky at times. I get that. Maybe no one knows who the leader is, but that's okay. They survive. He gets back in good position here, forces them into the sewer. Slovak player takes a useless shot. One of my big problems though with Hughes is he doesn't stop on a lot of things. He's not a start and stop player despite having world-class edges. Starts and stops are essential to playing defense at any level. Watch here. This is a winnable puck. in a nothing situation for the Slovaks. We saw in the Sandin video how he closes things down and doesn't let them fester, not let them develop, but he keeps backing off and he's getting back pressure from Josh Norris and he's not getting a lot of help from Ryan Lindgren. I get that, but now he has to manage a lane between player 14 and 13. The wall doesn't need to be managed because Norris is on the puck and coming down the gutter. He's neutralizing the biggest threat. Now you need to mitigate the next biggest threat, but he fails to do all of this and allows the forechecker to get right on top of him, and it creates just a shabacle in his own zone. We're gonna see here though with his work behind the net. Look at this composure, this poise, this control. That's advanced slickness right there, and it's real confident. We talked about it in the Joey Keane video about players that can beat one and great players can beat two. Well, here's two right here. Though annoyingly, he never has a stick on the rink, so he passed up a golden scoring chance on just a bad habit there. They're going to keep this play alive in the offensive zone. It's just a lot of Hughes just fending off players with good puck protection ability. And he just threads that pass all the way across. That goes across a layer and 3 lanes, and it's right on the tape. And the Americans are able to keep this thing alive until the puck eventually, the period's going to run out as the puck comes all the way down. He's going to get into a little bumping B here coming down the rink and fends him off pretty well, just trying to get to the puck, trying to set it up so that his partner can make a play or so somebody else can help. I'm perfectly fine with that. You don't have to win that battle. You have to make it easier for somebody else. I think he did that just fine there as the period expires. Let's get back to work on defense a little bit. Again, he's in fairly good shape here against this stacked attack for the Slovaks. Stick isn't on the floor, so I wonder how this works if the Slovaks actually attack the right area and make use of the setup they have instead they just waste another shot that can't possibly score. The play devolves into no one wanting to do anything on either side. It's a bad ping pong game for a while. Hughes' best friend on the rink is probably his own net. He doesn't defend it terribly well, but boy is it an ally of his. Watch him shake this forecheck. He's also wonderfully coordinated. As the Americans are going to bring this in with some speed. Later in this shift, he's going to get the puck back in the neutral zone on a regroup, and maybe you say he's trying to do a little too much with it, and maybe there's an easier play. And if this was turned over, this play coming up, like a coach, I'd be all over him. So I'm going to hint at it because I see it's a sign of maybe he's doing too much against what he perceives to be weak competition because he can. That's fine. That's a fine line to walk. I think he's going to figure it out because he's not a dummy out there, but it's just something to watch for. Defensive miscue coming up here. Here's an instance where he's just not physically engaged. He's right on the hip of Krivacek, but he's not prepared to finish him off. He slips out of Hughes rather easily, and it allows an easy chance. We'll double down on it on the next shift by just losing a puck battle, and it's not in a hurry to get back. I mean, it's not the worst play in the world here, but it's just not a great habit to have. It's never too late to get back to your own net. We get into a run of some questionable defensive work from Hughes here. We're going to see a strong rush coming right up, and it's just off the blocks rush, which is crazy. It makes a good pass to enter. But then you have to rotate back into position. With his skating and the fact that no one is covering for him, I don't know what happens to him. I don't know if he eats it or if the ref picks him, but he really seems to take a lot of time to get back into the frame, and Lindgren, as the last guy back, just wastes one into some shin pads. He had room to walk. He had a chance to initiate the cycle. This is not a smart shot. The result is a 2-on-1 for a team that needs these types of breaks to win a game. Again, I don't know what this is. I'm trying to figure out what he expects. He salvages it because he's better than everyone, but this is a little concerning behind his own net. Again, you don't want to dwell too much on communication or potential chemistry issue in tournament play. This goes real fast for the players. If these mistakes happened at the University of Michigan all the time, then all right, well, maybe you'd say there's an issue. We'll see in part 2 of the video him and his friendly confines, or at least friendlier than an international tournament. Back to Hughes himself. Having a multi-line puck carrier might be one of the rarest luxury items in the National Hockey League, and it wins. It wins if you have enough of them. Look at Pittsburgh. They've won 2 of the last 3 Stanley Cups. Sidney Crosby, 3-line carrier. Evgeny Malkin, 3-line carrier. Kessel, 2-line carrier. Letang is a 2-line carrier, maybe 2.5. How often are they without a multi-line carrier on the rink at any time? They're spread out throughout their lineup. It's a huge advantage. I don't know any other team that has 4 2+ line carriers spread out like that. And Hughes is going to offer that type of upside and that type of ability. He's almost certainly going to be a 2 or 3 line carrier at the NHL level. when he makes it there. He plays the game just so fast on his toes. If you put him in the NHL right now, he can outskate a solid 90% of the league, and I think I'm conservative when I say that. He is a terrific skater. He has amazing puck skills for a defenseman of his age and his stature. Now, before you get there and you get all that juicy offensive potential, you have to clean up the defensive side of your game. So we're going to watch here. He comes all the way across. That's okay. Now, support the defensive play and mean it. So stop right here. When the puck is clearly won, then you start to break out. Don't do that. That's wrong and really confusing to Joey Anderson or any smart forward at this level. And then where are you going? This is wrong. Don't do this. This play is not mopped up. There's no place for you to go anyhow. It's going to be 1-on-3 if you get this, maybe 2-on-3. And then he Orpicks his own goalie as the cherry on top. So we watch Hughes do some of his finest work, which is quarterbacking the power play. Let's not lose sight of it. He plays 20 minutes of this game against the Slovaks, and I think, and you look back at like the last shift and some of the shifts that we'll show here coming up, he loses the trust of Coach Motzko because of his defensive play. I don't think there's any way to slice it other than that. He's paired with Ryan Lindgren. You even notice earlier in this tournament because he kind of mimics his defensive partner at the University of Michigan. And they end up just switching him to Adam Fox and just going for broke. And Fox was a little bit more reliable defensively. But here he plays 20 minutes. He loses a few minutes in the next game. The last game in the prelims, he's down to 11:02. Then you get into the medal round. He plays 4:29 against the Russians. And he plays less than 1 minute in the final 2 periods combined. The Swedes, he plays 8:04. That's in the semifinal. But more than half of that came in the third with the Americans losing. It was at the expense of Ryan Lindgren, that ice time. Lindgren played over 8 minutes per period against the Swedes and played less than half of that in the third to get Hughes time. The only time Hughes even kind of gets back into the tournament is in the bronze medal game. He plays a shade under 11 minutes. So I think a lot of that has to do with some of these defensive shifts that you see. So we're going to have tail end of American power play here as the third period begins, and it's tied in a game that maybe shouldn't be tied. So the power play goes for naught, and then towards the end of it, watch as the Slovaks break this out. This is not very good positioning here. He's leaving the entire lane, and it's the lane the puck carrier is coming down. The Slovaks rush the play and make a poor geometrical pass, so Hughes survives, but he's not in good position to defend this rush. And it would have allowed an opening for the Slovaks and maybe another odd man rush opportunity for them had they made a better play. Back to some positives here for Hughes. Watch him walk the line. He just walks it so well. A lot of people knock him for his shot. I don't mind this shot. I think he's got a quick release. He's not gonna put a hole through the barn certainly with his slap shot. But if you're quick and you can create angles for yourself, he's gonna lose a board battle here that he tries to pinata his way out of. If you're in a situation where you can move, get the goalie moving, and then get a quick shot, I think you're all right. Watch him here again, poise, uses the net as his friend, just waits for everything to die down. And then watch him here. This is almost a standing start, and he just still is able to beat a forecheck, and then he doesn't try to do too much. Very simple, end of the shift, dump it in. Good, smart play. One thing I'd like to see Hughes develop a little bit, beyond physically and the technical skills, is mentally. And I don't mean that from a hockey sense perspective. I really don't think that evolves too much once you're this high in the development arc. Is just the body language. There's a fine line between cocky and confident. And sometimes on the rink, you're seeing him, he's looking to officials pretty often. He's got this loud, dramatic beaver tap that he goes to a lot. And defensively about, just how his stature is. Stick kind of sits on his hip quite a bit. Is he really fully engaged defensively, or is he just kind of sitting there? You don't want to be Ryan Merkley out there. That's one thing that scares you off. I think Hughes is more competitive than that, but there's some stuff that can be cleaned up, and it's a maturity thing. This puck's gonna get turned over, and the Slovaks are going to come the other way. A little bit of a 3-on-2. Again, I really wish your stick was down managing this 3-on-2 against. I mean, the chances of finding a hip-high pass are about 0. Please get your stick on the ice. At least act like you want to be playing defense a little bit. This is going to come back around. He's going to turn this over on the reverse, which happens. Ideally, he's shading back a little closer to his goalie here in case there's a short side rebound or rebound in the slot. He might get beat back there as Lindgren's trying to react to that, to trying to recover from that reverse. But again, just not quite in the right lanes yet. I don't think it's a hockey sense thing. I think it's an experience thing, but definitely something to watch, and definitely not NHL ready, not even close. A lot of things about his game are NHL ready. The skating is more than ready. The offensive skills are more than ready. Puck carrying is ready. He could probably quarterback a power play at the NHL level right now. He really, really could. He has that type of skill level. The defense is not ready. The maturity in his game is not ready yet. I really, really hope that he doesn't get forced into the NHL for any length of time this year. We're going to see a situation. Move it. Move the puck. You have a chance to make a pass that beats 2 forecheckers. Move the puck. Instead, needlessly coughs it up there. He's going to come back and he's going to support the rush really nicely here, as he wants to make good on his mistake. I get that. That's good. That's good support there. That pass and then allowing the forward that picks it up to make that drop back to him. That's really good positioning in terms of defense there. Really confident with him on the power play. He can run everything from back there. As he's going to fake this shot and move it over. That pass is just a little bit off the mark for Kiefer Bellows, who has an absolute rocket. But defensively and the mental maturity, I just don't think he's quite ready for the pro game yet. Now, with all that being said, it's important to note Hughes isn't a catastrophe defensively, as this power play is going to wind down in an uneventful fashion for the Americans, and Hughes heads off. Remember Adam Ruzicka from earlier? He's like 6'80". Hughes comes across and makes a good play on him there. Ruzicka's no slouch. He's a better than point per game player in the Ontario Hockey League. That's not just some fork and spoon operator out there that just can't make a move. He tries to take on Hughes, and Hughes knocks him off the puck. That's good. So give credit where credit's due. And then 2, don't give discredit where discredit isn't due. He doesn't deserve a demerit. We're going to watch a Slovaks. This is going to get pumped into the corner here. So let's just stop it right here. At live speed, this looks like it's on Hughes, but it's really not. Clearly no one's talking. Riley Tufte, a forward, is back on the retrieval. This needs to go back up towards the corner to Lindgren, or harder around, or just swallow it. Hughes has to babysit the front of the net here, and he gets tempted into a bad spot by Tufte, and he gets absolutely no reprieve. It's a great backhand shot by Krivashik, goes in and puts the Slovaks up late. That's not really on Hughes. That's a bad retrieval setup, and Tufte put him in a tough spot. That's got to go to the strong side. So you'll note by the score change in a short amount of time, this game really wakes up in the third period after a real sleepy start. But for Hughes, and the rest of this is just Hughes attempting to tie the game for the Americans, and he gets awfully close. You get the sense from watching this game that maybe Hughes just never quite got comfortable here. And defensively, I doubt he wowed Bob Motzko very much, the head coach of the USA team. So when push came to shove, Motz probably looked down his lineup and thought, I think I might be able to get more out of Fox and more out of maybe someone like Perunovic defensively, while not sacrificing all that much offense. And ultimately, maybe he had a point, as neither of them are as porous as Hughes is defensively right now. But they don't offer the same caliber of offense, and it seemed like Motzko was willing to make that trade-off, as Ryan Lindgren played so much during the tournament, and like I said, referenced earlier, it's his ice time. It's Lindgren, one of their better defensive players. He's the one that sacrifices his ice time to Hughes in the game against the Swedes, where the Americans eventually bow out and have to settle for bronze. So with Hughes, this is world-class offensive upside. Phil Housley, Brian Leach, wherever you want to go with it. He's a terrific puck carrier. I don't think his shot's all that bad. He doesn't really use a slap shot, but he's got the snapper. He's got a good wrist shot. He can change the angle. He can walk the line and make moves with it. Power play quarterback skills. I would not rush this player if I had the chance. He needs to improve on some things defensively. He's not there from an urgency standpoint, from an experience standpoint, from just a fundamental knowledge of the game standpoint. He doesn't have it down defensively. And like all young players, especially young players that are small like this, he could stand to get physically stronger. Of course, I think all these kids could. He's a terrific talent, though, and Vancouver's got a whale of a player on their back line coming down the pike. So that's it for this one. In part 2, we'll take a look at Hughes in a little bit more friendlier confines at the University of Michigan. So until next time, thanks for watching.